Yo, welcome back to A Positive Lens. Thank you so much for hopping on and taking your time to listen to this. I am more than excited to share episode 4 with you. Today's episode is going to be about rich in the mind, rich in reality, because that is how things work. You have to get rich upstairs before you get rich outside. Is it in the Bible? I believe it's in the Bible. It says, as above, so below, and so below, as above. What goes on up here happens out here. And what happens out here goes on up here. All is mind, and the mind is all. So that's what this podcast is going to be about. And I just really want to hammer that down because everything in life is mindset. Every little thing. You have to learn how to think. You have to learn how to feel. Feelings come from your mind. Essentially, you live your life in your head. If you don't understand that and you can't apply the certain teachings that all these great philosophers of the past have kind of taught today's society, you're going to struggle. You're seriously going to struggle. So I'm going to try and teach some of the frameworks that I personally use in my life to make my reality a better place and take my actions to the next level. So thoughts stem feelings, and thoughts and feelings stem actions, and actions stem a lifestyle. Well, actions stem habits, and then habits stem a lifestyle. I think that is the best way to word it. I hope that is the best way to word it. And I just strongly believe that, it goes from thought and feeling to action. It goes from consistent action to habit. And then it goes from habit to lifestyle. That is how the structure of your life will go. And you have to learn how to think first, right? Always go to the root cause. I learned this when I was an electrician a few years ago. They taught me always go to the root cause of the problem. And ever since I learned that, I've been thinking of every little thing in that way. If I, for example, don't want to go to the gym today, I always use this as a perfect example is if I don't want to go to the gym today, why is that? Why is that? Find the root cause of that. Really hammer that down. Is it simply because I'm not thinking correctly? Really? I'm just going to go. Or is it simply because I'm not feeling correctly? Really? I'm just going to go anyways. So always try and go to the root cause of every single problem in your life, and you will find out that you can easily change things pretty quickly. So just dive into the root and just start figuring your shit out. Your life is your problem. Please don't blame it on anyone else. It is up to no one but you. Aside from that, let's dive into this. Number 1, knowledge. Your knowledge, I believe that what you know and your skill set directly reflects your income. So if you're poor or if you're not making as much money as you like, that's your fucking fault. I'm going to be honest with you, completely your fault. So you have to level up your knowledge and your skill set. And by doing that, you simply have to know what you're consuming. If you're sitting there scrolling fucking TikTok all day or Instagram, you're not controlling the knowledge that goes in you. And to further elaborate on that, you have to be able to control the knowledge that goes in you. If you think you're learning from TikTok, you're fucked. That's not right. You're not controlling all that knowledge that's going in you. It's just the algorithm feeding you what it wants to feed you to keep you on that platform. These social media platforms want you to stay on there. That's why a lot of people are so heavily addicted to them. So I would not rely on knowledge from the platforms whatsoever. Yes, you may see a Instagram reel here that makes a lot of sense, but go out of your way and try and figure out exactly what it is that you want to learn. Control what you ingest. Who do you listen to? A very good friend of mine named Tommy taught me that. Who do you listen to? He said it on our podcast, our first one. Who do you listen to? Make sure you're very aware of that because there's a lot of garbage out there. And if you're listening to shit, you're going to feel like shit. You're going to think like shit. And your actions are going to be shit. Your habits are going to be shit. So always go to that root cause, right? Who are you listening to? Having control over what you consume is definitely the most fucking important thing when it comes to knowledge. I know I just went over that, but I wrote it down again here because I believe that it is so powerful. I just went over it pretty good, so I'm going to continue to point 3 that I have. Retaining knowledge and how action is a knowledge retaining device. as well as a result driver. So a lot of people, they will ask me, or I see a lot of search results online where they'll say, I have trouble retaining knowledge. You know, you read a book. Let's say you read 1% Rule by Tommy Baker, one of my fucking all-time favorites, changed my life. If you're looking to change your life, go read that book. But first, listen to what I'm going to say. Let's say you read 1% Rule. You have all this knowledge now, and it's just sitting in your mind. Knowledge is not power unless it is acted on, okay? You have to fucking take action on that knowledge, or else nothing is going to change, and you're just gonna feel kind of crappy because you have all this knowledge and you're like, nothing is changing in my life. In your life, if you want things to change, you have to change what you're doing. Change requires change. I assume people hear that all the time, and I'm not trying to be just another mindset guy, another motivation guy. I'm trying to bring my knowledge to the table and my perspective of it to the table. And I'm glad there are people that are doing so as well. But make sure to take action. 1% Rule states you have to pick areas in your life that you want to get 1% better at every single day. Every single day. And consistency is what is going to drive that action and turn it into habit. So step one, you have to act on the knowledge. So let's say you read A Part in 1% Rule. Russell, not now. Let's say you read A Part in 1% Rule. And 1% Rule says, go to the gym every day for a week and then add another habit on top. If you fucking go to the gym one day, miss the second, you go on the third for half an hour, it's just not going to work out. You have to take action. You have to take consistent action, and that knowledge will then turn into power. And action, like what I was saying, it is a retaining device. It's a knowledge retaining device. You're going to remember more of what you fucking learned if you act on it. So if you're consuming knowledge and you pick what you consume, take action on it and take action now. If you read 10 pages of a book today and you learn something, let's say it teaches you how to start a Shopify drop shipping store. Take action on building that fucking store now. Take action on doing that thing now. Because if you let it simmer and you let it wait, you're going to continue to feel like shit. And this is a big reason why I believe people continue to feel like shit every single day, aside from the food they eat, aside from the negative thoughts they have. But this is a main driver because you have the knowledge and you're not taking action on it. It's going to get you in a negative, thought cycle. You're gonna be like, I know all this stuff, but I'm not acting on it. And that's why I constantly say, be the fucking person you say you are and you think you are. Act as that person, and the results shall come, okay? Act as the person you want to be. Now, on to the next point. You have to learn how to think, okay? And you have to be able to go into deep thought and ask yourself questions, okay? Step one of learning how to think is you have to allow yourself to go into deep thought and really, really, really question why you're having those thoughts. Where could they potentially be coming from? And how am I going to change them? Okay. So let's say you have 30 minutes of your day, 15 minutes of your day. Instead of going on your phone, fucking scrolling, put your phone down, leave it in a separate room, go sit on a chair, sit on the couch, stand up, lay down on your bed, and just stare at the ceiling. Humans don't allow themselves to be bored anymore. I don't know why, because this is where great, ideas and a lot of good things come from being bored. You have to allow yourself to think and get into deep thought. So take 15 minutes. I would say do this every day, but start slow. Don't make it a task. Make it something that you just naturally do. So start slow. But give yourself 15 minutes and just think. Let these thoughts go through your mind, because thoughts, they're not you thinking them. It's all this garbage that, social media and the world and all these billboards up on the fucking highway when we're driving past them. It's all that stuff that is just being shoved in our brain and just regurgitated. So not every single thought you have is you thinking that. You have to be able to separate your soul and your thoughts, because when you are having negative thoughts, it's going to be a lot easier to let them be separate from you when you know that they're separate from you. And it's just a lot easier to let them go when you're like, okay, this is not me thinking this. I'm just going to think a better, more positive fucking thought. That is very, very, very key. But back to allowing yourself to just sit and think. Ask yourself, why am I having these thoughts? If you're thinking, let's say one of the first thoughts you have is, I'm not making enough money. Okay, ask yourself why you're having that thought. You have to ask yourself why. Maybe it's because I'm not taking as much action as I'd like. Maybe it's because I'm not waking up early enough. Maybe it's because I don't feel good about myself when I get up in the morning. Ask yourself these fucking questions, please, please. You have to learn how to think with yourself. Dive deep into your brain. So go through all these questions. You know, if you're a person that doesn't take much action, or if you're a person that takes a lot of action, you're going to have these thoughts. But the person that takes a lot of action and is wealthy, has amazing things going for them, they're able to critically think about themselves. Okay. And they're able to blame themselves and take responsibility. Okay. When they ask themselves, why am I not, at $1 million a month? They're going to take responsibility and say, okay, it's this, and this, and this. And that takes deep thought. It's going to take practice, but get into some deep thought and ask yourself these questions, because without this, you're not going to figure out who you are and how you should be thinking and how you should be acting and how you should be feeling. So go into deep thought. And if anyone has any further questions about that, please shoot me a DM on Instagram. Leave a comment, anything. I am more than willing to help anyone out. I am here to help. I'm not here to take anything from anyone. I just want to give my perspective and my knowledge on, what I believe is true to me and what works for me, because if it works for me, it's got to work for someone else. It has to. So I just want to spread positivity and spread healthy knowledge to the world, because I have went into deep study. I've been studying for years of my life, and I just believe that I have knowledge to be shared. Aside from that, sorry. But okay, second last point is becoming wealthy. You have to become wealthy in your mind before you become wealthy in reality. And what I mean by that is, if you have goals of making, let's say, $50,000 a month, if your goal is making $50,000 a month, you have to become that person mentally before it happens physically. Like I said, as above, so below. That should put it pretty straightforward. Use the methods I just said about, learning how to think, deep thought, asking yourself these questions, retaining knowledge and how action is a knowledge retainer, having control over what you consume, and just knowing that what you consume is either good or bad. You should be able to decipher that, okay? So use those tips and use them to become wealthy in your mind. Like I said, you can ask me any questions, but back to that. Your mind is the most powerful thing in the universe. I think I have said that every single podcast, and I will continue to say it. Your mind is the most powerful thing in the universe. You either let it use you or you use it. Let me say that again. You either let it use you or you use it. If your mind controls you, you're fucked. Quote David Goggins. David Goggins is an amazing human. He is so disciplined and consistent. That is a big, big part of his success. But use your mind. The same thing applies to the phone. I made a video about this a while ago, but I will repeat it again. Use your phone or let it use you. Same thing with the mind. You know how this is a supercomputer? This is an even greater supercomputer. This just can do things a little bit more numerically and logically. You have the most powerful thing between your ears right here, and you're using it to your disadvantage. All it takes is some fucking subconscious reprogramming. And all that subconscious reprogramming takes is just a little bit of action. Well, not a little bit, but it'll start with a little bit and then it'll snowball into more. Consistent action, feeling good and thinking good. Make sure that you feel and think like the fucking man or the woman. Make sure you feel and think like that, especially when you go to bed. That is very, very important. For the people that know, you know. But I just want people to understand that everything is upstairs, as above, so below. I'm going to keep repeating the same fucking thing because to learn something, you have to do it repeatedly, which is why I say action is a knowledge retainment device. Take consistent action and see your life change in front of you. Like I said, you cannot expect change without change. So change your actions, change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your habits, and ultimately change your life and your bank account. A lot of people are doing this for financials. I'm trying to teach this because you need to understand all of this to get your financials right. Like I said, if you're not wealthy in the mind, it's not going to happen in real life. So get it up here first. Stop focusing on the bank account. Focus on fucking you. Make sure that you have yourself in order. Before you go out and start, getting girlfriends or going and partying in the club like you're the fucking man, get yourself in order. Get yourself in order. And for the people that don't know where to start in the fucking gym. That's what started it for me. I was like, okay, I don't like what I look like, and it's really fucking with my head. I'm gonna go get in the gym. I'm gonna go be fucking consistent. I'm not gonna stop. It's been like 4 or 5 years of the gym now. I haven't stopped. I've been going every single week since then. I feel fucking amazing. Amazing things have, flourished from that seed I planted, which was the gym. And then everything just started to come together because I was consistent. Consistency breeds success. I've said that so many times, but I will say it time and time again because it is very, very, very true. And I don't want to keep repeating myself and continuing what I'm saying, so I'm going to cut this podcast very shortly, but I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to listen to this. I will do this regardless if 0 people are listening or 10 fucking million. Obviously, I have a goal of this becoming one of the most popular podcasts in the world. Mark my words, it will be one day for sure. I'm going to stay very, very consistent with this because I know what consistency does, as I just explained it, but it's something I'm passionate about. I want to fucking help people, as I stated. But thank you again. Thank you for everything. I just realized I have one last thing. Have a plan and execute on it. That's going to be what my next podcast is about. So make sure you listen to that next one because this is all going to tie into each other. I'm going to make each podcast tie into one another, just so it makes sense if someone starts from beginning and then goes all the way to, the most recent one. I want it to make sense. So have a plan and execute on it. I'll give a little gold nugget. Take out a lined piece of paper. Come up with 25 character traits for the person that you want to become. 25 minimum. Write every single one of them down. These character traits have to be positive actions and positive habits. Write all of them down. Build a daily plan around it. And take fucking action on it every single day. Even if it's the weekend. Who cares if it's the weekend? These are just days made up. Thrown in our face. Oh, it's a weekend. Let's go to the club. I don't give a shit. Put the fucking work in. Make something happen with your life. It is up to you. So, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Keep fucking killing it. Keep doing your thing. And much love.